Now to Buffalo, New York, where 10 people were killed and others injured at a supermarket because of the color of their skin. An 18-year-old white supremacist dressed in tactical gear fired more than 50 rounds at black shoppers and workers while streaming the assault live online. The FBI is investigating this as a hate crime. 11 of the 13 shooting victims were black, including a retired Buffalo police officer just working security at the store. The suspect posted a manifesto online in the hours leading up to the mass shooting, outlining his motivation for the killings and leaving no doubt he targeted people of color. This shooting brings to the forefront the painful memories of a young white man in South Carolina, armed with a gun and hate, who killed non-black Christians simply because they were black. For those wondering how a homicidal racist gains access to a weapon capable of such destruction, the warning signs were everywhere. Previous threats and mental health evaluations, and yet he was able to purchase a firearm in New York. Cops and prosecutors will have to provide the legal answers, but many of our questions are not legal. They're deeper than that. Questions of why. Why people simply shopping and working are now dead. How someone can carry this much hate. Who could possibly hurt another person simply because of the color of their skin? Those are spiritual questions, and those remain long after the investigation and prosecution have ended. Our next guest will be called upon to answer some of these questions. Bishop Darius Pridgen of True Bethel Baptist Church and also the president of Buffalo City Council. Bishop, thank you for joining us. The people of good conscience all across the country grieve with you. What do you say to family and friends whose loved ones were killed simply because of the color of their skin?
Well, you know, this is a very difficult situation. It's very difficult for everyone involved. And one of the things I think is important right now at this point is to allow those families the time to grieve. You know, so many people are talking about what are the next steps, but we need to step into allowing the people to grieve, allowing, and really for this country to grieve with them. And I think that that's what's so important, because you can't heal without the grief. And so that's where we're at right now in this community.
You know, Bishop, I pulled up some of your remarks from earlier, and you used this phrase, grieving in a healthy way. And it's so hard when there is anger to do that. Well, how do people grieve in a healthy way?
You know, one thing that I wanted to make sure that we've seen at times across the country with different things when people are grieving is that some people take things and begin to destroy their own communities. And what we've said to people here is this is not a time to destroy our community. It is not a time of hatred for hatred. But really, how do we now take this moment in time, take this moment in history, and make for a better, not only Western New York and Buffalo, but for a better United States of America? That's what healthy grieving does. It takes that hurt and turns it into a positive change. So let's be clear. There has never been a huge change without there being some hurt. And so at the end of the day, that's what healthy grieving looks like.
All right, Bishop, I'm going to ask you a tough question. This is a spiritual question. For those wondering how God can allow this, I mean, people shot while they're just shopping and working. I mean, what is the answer to how that can be allowed by a loving God?
You know, I mean, it's a good question. And I don't, you know, evil is a part of our existence and a part of our world. And I don't think this is something that God wanted. I don't think it's something that God willed. I think that this was the evil actions of a person. So I won't put it on God, and I want to make sure that it stays on that person, because God can get the glory in all things, and all things really do work together for the good of them who love the Lord. So I just believe that we can be a better people, a better country out of all of this.
Well, I think most of the country is full of really, really good people, and I'm sure that they would like to help. So how can people help your community? How can they help the family and friends and loved ones of those who tragically lost their lives or were injured yesterday?
Well, first of all, you know, as a man of faith, I say pray for us and stand with us. You know, it's one thing to say you understand pain, But if you do not denounce racism, if you do not denounce bigotry, if you do not denounce white supremacy, then you really aren't helping. And, you know, there might be people who send money, but don't really feel that there's racism. I say this, and this is just for me, keep your money. At the end of the day, if you don't believe that there's racism, then, you know, your help is not wanted. But those who really want to help can call City Hall on Monday. There'll be instructions of who is raising money to help these families.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you.
God bless you, and thank you.